Courtney, we will do that indeed for the night session here at Devon Park. A historic matchup in Oklahoma City, the 12-time national champion UCLA Bruins and the top-seeded Alabama Crimson Tide on the road they hope to title number 2.
I'm a kid in the classroom sitting on her hands. There's drive, and then there's overdrive.
An underdog is still a freaking dog.
A Fromm postseason masterpiece.
But I can't sit still.
Higgins loves the pressure. Let's go!
When all that matters is moving and a dream moves you the most, you keep going forward and further, forever.
Update the record book.
Thoughts in my head have a mind of their own. This is a stage tailor-made for you, where the Oklahoma sky is the limit.
Arkansas is headed to the World Series for the first time.
Exactly what I came here for.
Nigerie Kennedy, the celebration in the circle. History made in Norman.
Now is the time to do what you do best at the Women's College World Series.
One step closer.
Welcome to the NCAA Women's College World Series, presented by Capital One. Day one, a beautiful scene here in Oklahoma City as the 44th World Series kicked off with a Texas Tech run rule. The Red Raiders were a win away from the title last year. They begin their quest by taking down Mississippi State 8-0. The team that beat them in the Champ Series is on the ropes instantly. Defending champion Texas dropped a 6-3 decision at Tennessee as the Lady Vols got some semifinal revenge from a year ago. So Texas Tech and Tennessee are off to the winners bracket Saturday afternoon on ABC. Mississippi State, Texas in an elimination game. Arkansas and Nebraska are next. But right now it is UCLA and it is Alabama, and it is our pleasure to welcome you to the night shift here at the World Series. Kevin Brown with two-time All-American Amanda Scarborough. Alyssa Lang is down on the field with us. Coming into Oklahoma City this year, we all thought this would be as star-studded a World Series as maybe we've ever seen, and particularly at night. These are two matchups that feel like they could be Champ Series matchups in the first round.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what to expect because you have great pitching and great offenses. When you look at the stat sheet, I could see high-scoring games, or I could see pitchers completely taking over, and that's what I love about going into these two-night matchups. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Well, we have UCLA, and we know they can hit, and they can hit anybody. A historic season, nearly 11 runs per game for the best offense statistically we've ever seen.
Well, I was going to say the best offense this season, which means something because it's the best offensive season that we have ever seen in our sport. But UCLA truly is going to go down as the best offense to ever hit the field, ever hit the softball diamond, led by the Bruin Bombers, the seniors, Megan Grant, Jordan Woolery. They're doing things, putting up numbers that nobody has ever put up in our sport. But it's not just them. It's 1 through 9, their entire roster. They're driving the ball, 200 home runs, over 650 runs scored. This offense is so tough to shut down.
Megan Grant broke Laura Espinosa's record of nearly 4 decades with her 40th home run. Actually broke with her 38th. She's got 40 now, and Jordan Woolery right behind her has driven in 112. How do you stop this offense? It helps to have the SEC Pitcher of the Year, and that's what Alabama does. The #1 seed again, as well-rounded a team as there is in the field.
They are. You could talk about their defense. You could talk about their hitting, but we're talking about their pitching because they've only given up 1 earned run in regionals and super regionals, and no other team entering the World Series has done that. The way that Jocelyn Brisky has stepped up, the SEC Pitcher of the Year, but also in tandem with Vic Moten, the freshman, she is electric. This is one of the best 1-2 punches in the country. They have been led in the circle all year long, but truly Alabama is the 1 seed for a reason.
And Brisky will get the start. A strikeout to walk ratio of nearly 9.5 to 1. An Alabama team with 26 shutouts, nearly half of their 54 wins. The best home run hitting duo in a single season in the history of the sport will take their cracks at the SEC Pitcher of the Year and the All-American Brisky when we return. Lineup is brought to you by Capital One. There's never been a lineup quite like this. Megan Grant, 40 home runs, the most in a single season. Jordan Woolery not terribly far behind with 34. The Bruins have hit 200 home runs. That's more than 3 per game. 52-8 as they storm into the World Series, having swept the regional and super regional in LA. And so far in the NCAA tournament, UCLA has scored 57 runs in its 5 games. Alabama has allowed 1. Ultra strength versus ultra strength as we kick off the night session here on day 1 of the 44th Women's College World Series. 6:07 local first pitch. And it is a strike from Jocelyn Brisky to Riley Slimp. Slimp, not to be overlooked, an All-American at the top of the lineup, is quickly behind 0-2. For Jocelyn Brisky, it is typically a steady diet of strikes on strikes on strikes. And Slimp goes down swinging. 3 pitches, 3 strikes for Brisky, immediately undeterred by this Titanic offense.
She just struck out Slimp with that rise ball. It's one of her go-to pitches alongside her drop. So she splits the zone vertically and then drops in the changeup. Jocelyn Brisky has absolutely elevated her game this year in her junior year. When you look at her numbers compared to last year in basically every single category, whether it's like the data or the statistics itself, she is better in every category. She has now become a strikeout pitcher.
And now she faces the all-time single-season home run leader, Megan Grant. Grant takes a strike at the top of the zone. Brett Higgins, the plate umpire, calls it. 40 home runs for Grant. Broke the Big Ten home run record of 26. Stacey Newman's UCLA record of 31. Laura Espinosa's all-time record of 37, all in the same year. And she rolls the ball foul out of play here. Obviously leads the nation in home runs. She leads the nation in home runs of every year. Also leads D1 in on-base and slugging percentage, walks, and OPS. A power season like no other for the senior from San Bruno. And she has reached base at a 700 on-base percentage clip in the NCAAs. She's down 1-2 here. And takes ball 2.
She's going to have a really good eye, even against somebody like Jocelyn Brisky, who throws a lot of strikes, a lot of first pitch strikes. She, up at the plate, Megan Grant, has one of the best eyes in OKC.
The 2-2. In the air to shallow left center field. The shortstop, Salin Hawkins, on a back pedal, collides with a left fielder, Audrey Vandegrift, and makes the catch.
Well, and that's something that you see a lot, especially opening day. It's louder here. There's a buzz around the stadium. This is the biggest crowd that these players have played in front of all season long, and communication is really important. And you can see Van de Griff just kind of saying mine. Salen Hawkins continues to go back on it. Communication is so key down there on the field.
There's Jordan Woolery. First pitch swinging, and Woolery lashes it foul.
Well, and Jocelyn Brisky is feeling it, Kevin. She threw one against Megan Grant at 72 miles an hour. She really sits about 69, 70, but adrenaline running through Brisky, the SEC Pitcher of the Year early.
Just challenged Woolery, the Big Ten Player of the Year, in the heart of the plate. Ball. And goes down and in, working with Marley Giles for ball one. It is hard to believe you've got the all-time single-season home run leader, and then the next batter is the Big Ten Player of the Year. That's how good Jordan Woolery's been. On pace for a 500-100 season. Just unprecedented numbers for the top two Bruins. Two seniors have been committed to UCLA and close friends since 8th grade. Woolery takes the strike, and it's 1-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
11 pitches, 8 strikes for Brisky. Looking for a 1-2-3 first. And she's got it. She strikes out 2 All-Americans and gets a pop out on another. A dominant start for Brisky at the World Series.
It's one thing to do this in the regular season, and the SEC Pitcher of the Year, she did it in the regular season. But to do it here on this field, this start, 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts against the best offense at the Women's College World Series, Brisky, she's starting out on fire.
World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
A perfect first inning in the circle for Jocelyn Brisky, and now the Alabama starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. Big home run hitters for the time. Maybe not UCLA numbers, but Brooke Wells and Alexis Papillo, a couple of transfers for Alabama. Papillo in her second year, Wells first, have the most home runs by an Alabama duo in a season. The Tide 54-7 in their 16th trip to the World Series. And Patrick Murphy's got a team that could win it all. He's won it all once. National champions, the first ever SEC team to win it in 2012, and they will begin their journey against Taylor Tinsley. If it's a UCLA game at the World Series, it's going to be Taylor Tinsley, Amanda, pitching for the 46th time this year.
Yeah, a lot has been put on this senior in Taylor Tinsley because a couple of transfers to Addison Fisher and Caitlin Terry.
Jenna Young will start the game and take a strike from Tinsley. Taylor Tinsley, since April 18th, has thrown in 79 2/3 of UCLA's 88 innings. This is the 16th consecutive game in which she's pitching. And she begins with a couple of strikes on Jenna Young.
And between Taylor Tinsley and Jocelyn Brisky, we have two pitchers who really pound the zone. Historically, when you look back at Tinsley's numbers, high first pitch strike percentage, high strike percentage overall. I mean, these two pitchers have very good command, and we're already seeing it.
Fouled away by the Iowa transfer Young. Tinsley is the first Bruin in 11 years since Ali Carter to start every regional and super regional game. 16 games in a row. The last Bruin to pitch in 16 straight was Rachel Garcia in the last 16 games of 2018. They are not a team that pitches well, frankly. It's a strange thing for Kelly Inouye Perez, now the winningest coach in UCLA history, a 4.32 team ERA. It's 136 in the country, and outside of Tinsley, their best pitcher by ERA is Britton Alley with a 5.74. So really, Amanda, this is going to be an old school thing. They're going to try to ride one reliable arm the whole way.
That's why it's going to be important for every team, but specifically UCLA, to try to stay in the winner's bracket to play fewer games here.
Up the middle, there's a base hit for Jenna Young. Her first at-bat on the World Series stage, and Young continues a strong postseason.
And Taylor Tinsley can move the ball around. Curve, rise, drop, and change. She'll throw a bunch of different pitches, but when it comes down to her best swing and miss pitch, her best pitches with 2 strikes, it's her changeup and her rise ball by far. Best chase rate, best whiff rate. Those are the 2 pitches that she's going to lean on when she works from ahead. Unfortunately, that 2-strike hit by Young was right down the heart of the plate. A miss by Tinsley.
There's a really good changeup to start against Brooke Wells, a second-team All-American hitter, transferred in from Houston in the offseason, and is third in the SEC with those 23 home runs. Wells waits back on back-to-back changeups into left field in the tie to have back-to-back knocks.
Oh, what a statement early from Alabama. A 2-strike hit by Young, and then Wells taking away this changeup early in the count. Tinsley wants to be able to throw that changeup a lot. It's one of her best pitches. It's very reliable, and especially against a good offense, like, you feel like you can rely on that pitch, but to see that swing on her changeup this early in the game, not a great sign for Tinsley in the circle.
Alexis Papillo, first pitch swinging as well. Papillo, a third-team All-American, has had a wonderful postseason and a monstrous super regional. 2 hits and a home run in both of the games as Alabama swept LSU.
Ball.
Alabama doesn't put up UCLA numbers, but this is a very good Crimson Tide offense. 97 home runs are tied for the second most in Bama history. Good base runners, good speed, good power, good balance.
Ball. 2-1.
And it's a lot different of a look for Alabama compared to the last 2 times Patrick Murphy came to the World Series. In 23 and 24, it felt like teams that scraped their way there had to bunt, had to play small ball, were the underdogs. Not this team. Fouled away, it's 2-2.
Well, and I remember watching Alabama opening weekend, and I just flipped on a game. Let's check out Alabama, and they look different. Kevin, I'm telling you, from the first moment that I saw them, their swings looked different. They looked more aggressive. They looked more powerful. They looked like their approach was all throughout their lineup against good pitching. This has looked like a different Alabama team since pitch number 1 of the season.
Papillo with a chase and a miss, and a critical strikeout for Tinsley after the back-to-back opening hits.
Kind of a half-hearted swing here by Papillo, just throwing her barrel at it, chasing up, chasing away. Big strikeout for Tinsley after back-to-back singles.
Cleanup hitter is the freshman Anna Roman.
Ball.
Roman, a freshman from Oviedo, Florida, in the Orlando area. Just 2 for 12 in the tournament with 3 walks, but a very good regular season.
Ball.
Up and away, it's 2-0 from Tinsley, who gave up back-to-back hits to start the game for just the 2nd time in her 31 starts this season. And And drops it a changeup to get back in the count.
That tells you how much she likes that changeup, throwing it on a 2-0 count, trying to get back into the count, trying to mix things up. They have great pitch calling. She has a lot of different tools to work with.
On the ground slowly to the right side, the second baseman Kanaya Bragg makes the play. Young and Wells move up a base, but Tinsley gets the second out.
Talking about the pitch calling, Kevin, it's actually lefty Ramirez back behind the plate calling pitches for Taylor Tinsley. They've been working together for a couple of years now. You'll see her look at the scouting report, get a good idea, and call the pitches from her knee. Kelly Inouye Perez will also get in on the pitch calling at times. They'll regroup in between innings, but not very often that you see the pitches being called from back behind the plate. But this is what UCLA does. They're very comfortable with it. A lot of trust in a veteran back behind the plate, Ramirez.
Ball, too much.
Alabama catcher Marley Giles takes ball one. There are a lot of Bama players who are new to the World Series, not Giles. And Ramirez, in her second year in a row at the World Series, has that PitchCom device on her knee. Presses the button, signals the pitch, and Tinsley misses down and in. In fact, we talked to Kelly Inouye Perez. She said, I wish this was how it was. I like it when the catcher calls pitches. Kelly with a couple of national championships, and also the only person to win a D1 title as a head coach and player.
Ball, that's too much.
Well, and there's sometimes that Kelly Inouye Perez will step in high leverage moments that they'll communicate and call pitches from inside the dugout. But it is a total collaboration effort between everybody on staff working together.
Giles taking all the way on 3-0. It's a strike. Kelly does not appear to be involved now, just a spectator as Ramirez and Tinsley go to work. The redshirt junior catcher and the senior pitcher. A shake from Tinsley. That a pitch she liked, and it's popped up. Woolery hoping it'll stay playable, but it's into the netting for strike two.
I just love it. The game within the game. You know, you have so much trust in your catcher. Ramirez and Tinsley have worked a lot together, but even in these moments, there's a certain feel inside of a pitcher. You saw Tinsley shake off to get to that rise ball. Like, you still, inside of your gut as a pitcher, know what you want to throw, and Ramirez and Tinsley have worked a lot together, usually on the same page, but sometimes as a pitcher, you say, nope, I want to throw something else.
Her 22nd pitch of the inning. Giles rips it into left field for a base hit. Young is in to score. Wells held at third. Giles takes second on the throw. The #1 seed strikes first. Marley Giles, in her third trip to the World Series, puts the Tide on top.
Look at her go up and get this rise ball. It's out of the zone, but she is looking to hit, anticipating something up. Remember, Tinsley had shake to get to a rise ball the pitch before that. So Giles had seen it a few times, and that at bat, she gets her barrel up to that pitch. She's determined, the senior, to score a run with an opportunity with runners in scoring position.
Her fourth RBI of this NCAA tournament, and first in a two-out situation. So Alabama first to the plate, and here's the red-hot Audrey Vandegrift swinging through a changeup. Vandegrift has reason to hunt some pitches. She's been the Tide's best hitter in the NCAA tournament. 8 out of 14 with 2 homers, a walk, and 5 RBIs.
Ball.
Vandegrift, a leadoff hitter for part of the year. Dropped to the 6th spot. Patrick Murphy said, don't think of it as a demotion. The 1 and the 6 hitters are the ones who statistically get the most leadoff at-bats. And Vandegrift down to first. It's picked by Woolery. Tide strand 2 in scoring position, but Giles brings in Young, and Alabama is on the board in the first inning. The #1 seed trying to storm back and get to the Champ Series here. They haven't been there for a while, but this Alabama team is balanced, it's deep, and it's on top in OKC.
Welcome back to Oklahoma City, where we'll have to wait until UCLA gets back to the top of the order to see the nation's leader in home runs, Megan Grant. And she has a little bit of an unusual ritual she goes through between pitches during every single at-bat. If you haven't seen it before, we asked her about each step. She said, well, my goal is to regulate my body as much as possible. Breathing is key. So you see the tip of the cap, her helmet. She closes her eyes, and she takes a huge breath in. She said it's a reset, a reminder to be in the moment, be where my feet are. And I think even though it's a bit unusual, guys, the proof is in the pudding with the numbers this year, right?
No question. A top 3 finalist Alyssa for USA Softball Player of the Year. And maybe not every UCLA player has that same routine, but she certainly rubbed off her preparation, her work ethic. Alina Garcia, the players batting now, told us Megan is the hardest worker I've ever seen in my entire life, and cited that routine. Garcia, one of the players who's tried to grow from that. It really is a pretty young team, Amanda, outside of Grant and Woolery. A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, 5 underclassmen in this UCLA lineup, and Grant and Woolery have been the standards for their play and the standards for their work ethic.
You round out the senior class with Taylor Tinsley, and I think that this team has just grown a ton. I mean, we talked about Alabama, right? Seeing them for the first time opening weekend, being like, whoa, this is a different Alabama team. For UCLA, it was a little bit of a struggle at the beginning, not necessarily opening weekend, but when they played in Clearwater and were playing tougher competition, they gave up a lot of runs, they were losing games, and they just had to regroup to find what their identity was going to be this season. And what is it? It is offense. Outscore the opponent. If they score 15, we score 16. I know everybody wants to outscore the opponent. That is the name of the game. But for UCLA, they are trying to put up as many runs on the board as possible, knowing that they are going to give up runs. So down 1-0, this is nothing for them.
Garcia had a fabulous year. A redshirt freshman who was injured early last year. It's a chopper down to third. Played cleanly by Ambry Taylor for the first out. Right now, UCLA has run into an early buzzsaw. Jocelyn Brisky's gone 4 up and 4 down. Brisky picked up her 200th strikeout of the season by fanning Woolery in the first. It's the 15th 1-2-3 first inning this year for Brisky in her 26th start. So more than half the time, a perfect start. Brisky's last start was not a perfect start against LSU. She allowed a leadoff double. It was a perfect finish. She retired the next 21 Tigers to open a super regional, struck out 11. Patrick Murphy told us it might have been her best game. She misses high to Brie Alejandre.
You look at, again, all the stats for Brisky, but one that sticks out to me is that she's thrown 12 complete games and 4 shutouts. The previous 2 seasons combined, she had 8 complete games and just 2 shutouts. Being able to work deeper into games, being able to see a lineup 3 or 4 times through and still find a way to get it done because of her pitch mix with her rise, drop, and change, and locating those pitches on both sides of the plate.
Swing and a miss. The all Big Ten slugger Alejandre is the 3rd strikeout victim for Brisky.
Yeah, these are some big swings and misses that we are not used to seeing from UCLA this year. 3 strikeouts for Brisky, 2 have come on the rise. This is a lower rise, more through the zone. She spins it, 2 have been on the rise, 1 on a change. But these UCLA hitters seem like they're late on her firmer stuff. She's throwing hard.
Alexis Ramirez misses a firmer pitch down and in. First 2 innings this season for Jocelyn Brisky. This is not a typo. 76 strikeouts. 1 single solitary walk. That's 26 starts on the year. Her strikeout to walk ratio is nearly 9.5 for the season. That's pretty good. 76-1 is a little better. 0-2 on Ramirez.
We don't give out an award for most improved player of 2026, but if we did, I would have to think it would go to Jocelyn Brisky, or at least she would be a top 3 finalist for the award with the turnaround that she's had this season.
And after 1-2-3 first, Brisky finishes off a 1-2-3 second. making mincemeat of this historic offense. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings.
She made a decision last summer, Jocelyn Brisky did, to be better. And to see it pay off here on this field with 4 strikeouts against this offense to start the game, this is where it pays off.
Program showed some signs of slippage in recent years. 2022, they failed to reach a Super Regional for the first time since the Supers were introduced 2005. Made the World Series in 23 and 24, were really not competitive. And then last year, the Tide got rolled at Oklahoma, outscored 16-2, were swept by their new SEC conference mates. But this has been the bounce back year. The roar back for Patrick Murphy's Crimson Tide. They're the #1 seed for only the second time. They pitch well, obviously. They've also slugged their way to a much, much stronger offense, a much more diverse offense. And I don't think anybody saw this coming. Alabama was picked 9th in the SEC before the season. But Pat Murphy's team goes 19-5, makes the SEC title game where they lose to Texas. And they've allowed just 1 run in 5+ games here in the NCAA tournament. So what did people miss with this team to be picked 9th, and how have they defied the doubters?
I think that it was just a turnaround with the coaching staff and approaching developing these players, because Coach Murphy told us, you know, he challenged his staff after Super Regionals last year. And he challenged every single person on staff that, hey, this needs to be better, and we all need to do better. So everybody went to work in the off season, I think took a different approach going into the fall and just really came together. We know that Alabama has been a team centered around culture and belief and this just it factor that you can't quite put a word to. We've seen it right here at the World Series come alive, but the physicality of it in terms of the stats, especially offensive stats, have been missing the past 2 years, but they've really put it together this year.
Oh, 2 on Ambry Taylor here, the freshman in her World Series debut. Strikes against Tinsley as we go down to Alyssa.
Well, another challenge for this Alabama team, guys, came after that SEC tournament championship game you mentioned, Kevin. Talking to the team yesterday, they said, you know, that was the first postseason championship game for a lot of our girls wearing an Alabama uniform, and we hated the taste that was left in our mouths after losing to Texas. They've been dominant since.
Felt like, Alyssa, they told us there was a little pressure because they were in that championship game and collectively decided to take the pressure off as they enter this new phase of the season. They have looked like the dominant Alabama team we saw going into the SEC title game since, not allowing a run in the regional round and then only 1 to LSU in Supers. Taylor Hawkins down 0-2 against Taylor Tinsley.
Well, and Coach Murphy gave us some insight to Adam Arbor, one of their hitting coaches on staff, of what their goal was from the very beginning of the fall. And it was every hitter on every AB was to hit the ball as hard as you can, number one, and get the pitch that you can do it on. So
there's a diving play at second by Bragg. She throws out Hawkins from her knees.
Really individualizing the approach while also simplifying it. It was a great play by Bragg. Hard hit ball, 66 miles an hour off the bat. Bragg was questionable game time decision whether she was going to start for UCLA tonight, but good range here, gloves it up, gets the out. Love to see that defense behind Tinsley.
Left game 2 of the Supers with a lower right leg injury mid at bat. So it's great to see Kanaya back in the field. Number 9 hitter Kristen White takes inside. Patrick Murphy's talked about his senior class, several of whom lost their starting job this year to his young players. White lost her job but got it back near the end of the season. A center fielder who's been at least a part-time starter for 4 years. White 6 for 12 here in the postseason, and she'll see some odd defensive alignments.
Yeah, you see Alejandre over at third base, and as well as Woolry, both the corners just coming hard in. They're a little bit further back now, and then of course White, seeing that they were a little bit further back, is going to show bunt and try to drop one down. But lots of speed up at the plate for White, and is going to challenge the third baseman and the outfielders as well, playing really shallow.
And a ground ball to second. Bragg. Back-to-back chances, she aces, and a bounce back second for Tinsley. A 1-2-3 for the UCLA A's. A season worthy of stars on the Walk of Fame outside the Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. Look at the Bruins, 200 home runs, first team ever. Megan Grant broke the record with 40. First team with 2 players over 30. Jordan Willery's there. First team or second team with 2 freshmen over 20. Brie Alejandre, Alina Garcia. On and on and on and on we could go. With UCLA, the highest scoring team, the most home runs in Division I history. 8 different players have 10 homers. 4 different players have 20 homers. This fan is feeling every bit of it. The previous UCLA home run record was 108. So they beat that by only 92. As Sujin Berry flies out to the warning track in left field. Quick out for Jocelyn Brisky here. We asked Kelly Inouye Perez, and there's Lisa Fernandez, her longtime assistant coach, if she believed 200 home runs was possible. She said, I would absolutely not have believed that, but gave Lisa Fernandez a ton of credit. Lisa Fernandez in her 28th year as UCLA assistant, one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. And Kelly said, I think this is her best coaching job. Lisa Fernandez in her 28th year. She's gotten a little more room to work with the hitters and the infielders the last few years. They credit her with a huge part of their success.
Yeah, in her third year officially, you know, working with the hitters, and Coach Inouye Perez called her a learner, went out and just wanted to know not just how to hit, but how each of these individual players' bodies move, and just learn how to get more out of them.
Down the right field line, Kanaya Bragg hits it fair, and Bragg is limping over to first base. Kanaya Bragg has the first hit for UCLA, and she could barely make it down the line after she left the UCF game with a right lower leg injury. Kelly Inouye Perez is out to talk to her. Kanaya is smiling.
Pitch is left up in the zone. This is the best swing that we've seen from UCLA, but falls out of the box. And as you mentioned, it's that right leg. So her back leg driving through the ball and just went down immediately. I feel for her because, as we said before, she was a game time decision whether or not she was going to be able to go. And you know she wants to be out here playing in the World Series, going to do whatever it takes. I mean, those couple of plays that she made last inning had good range. Oh, I feel for her.
Well, she leads the game to a huge ovation in her dugout. Mia Phillips, the pinch runner, is in. A reminder for those of you who are newer to the game or tuning in for the postseason, you can return to the game after you're subbed out. So this does not mean Kanaya's out for good, though it certainly did not look good. She is in the dugout right now. Phillips is in as UCLA gets its first base runner against the SEC Pitcher of the Year, Brisky. And now Jelena Lamar, who's been a wonderful number 9 here. Lamar lifts a pop-up behind the plate. Giles with the mask still on, makes the catch, and then crashes into Brooke Wells, who took a shot to the face, it appeared. And she bloodied Brooke's lip.
Marley Giles was calling this and going for it, and Brooke Wells is right there, goes right into her shoulder. That pop fly was in the air for so long. Oh.
An unfortunate extra side of crimson. Alabama has a trainer attending to Wells. Patrick Murphy's out there as well. Well, Sunday afternoon, 2 Eastern, 1 Central, the WWE's clash in Italy, where there might be a busted lip or two. Catch the first hour live on ESPN. Stream the entire event on the ESPN app with an ESPN Unlimited plan. We've had, I tell you what, a single to right field and a foul out to the catcher. Those are not typically plays that lead to injuries, but Bragg out of the game, and now Wells trying to work through this bloody lip here. And a 1-0 game in the third inning. Opening Thursday here at the World Series. Still to come, Arkansas and Nebraska. First pitch scheduled for 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 local. Maybe a little later depending on how long this first game goes. Wells is going to stay in there.
You can read her lips. I busted my lip, and you definitely can tell I'm trying to smile it off. It's not like there's, you know, like 50 cameras around or anything that Gonna be able to see that in the next couple of days if they're on the field.
If
Tough cookie.
If there was ever a particularly bad time to bust your lip, it's at the place with the rail cab and the drone cab and cameras that probably are just invented for this show. Our wonderful coverage we have here in OKC. So top of the order, Riley Slimp very late on a rise ball her first time. Having an exceptional season at the top of the lineup.
Ball.
And Slimp takes a changeup for ball one.
Well, I think second time through the order, UCLA needs to be a little bit more aggressive. There have been some pitches early in the count that Brisky has actually missed over the plate, and UCLA has taken those pitches. UCLA this year has been a very patient team, low swing rate for them.
Swing and a miss again by Slimp.
But that first strike to Riley Slimp was right down the heart of the plate and then chases that rise ball out of the zone to work Brisky right into a pitcher's count.
Brisky looking for 3 nearly flawless innings against the nation's best offense. Slimp stays alive. And reminder, if you want to reach base, Riley Slimp be a particularly good idea because Megan Grant, the single season home run leader, is next. A chance to get a couple of runners aboard for Grant. Back to a 1-2 for Brisky.
Ball down.
Slimp said, I told Kellyanne Perez my goal was to be the leadoff hitter this year in front of Grant and Woolery. Got in there during preseason and has never left. A 2-2.
Ball.
She takes wide and runs the count full with Grant waiting in the wings. Pitch number 7 to Slimp. And a swing at a fly ball driven to center. White will watch it go. Why wait around for Grant and Woolery? The Bruins have a big bopper at the top of the card. Riley Slimp with her 17th. And just like that, UCLA is on top.
These long levers that Riley Slimp has, she's using them here. She wanted to hit a rise ball. She took a drop ball. That was a close pitch at the bottom of the zone to continue on in her at bat. Adjustment on that rise ball within this at bat. She chased it, swung and missed it, then eventually fouled it off. Took a drop ball. Brisky goes back to the rise ball, and she is all over it. You elevate that pitch up in the zone and you miss out over the plate like that, it's going to go 246 feet for Riley Slimp.
Home run number 201 for UCLA, which keeps extending the record. Ends a 20-inning scoreless streak for Jocelyn Brisky, who now has to deal with Grant. And Megan rips a fly ball to deep right field, and the Bruins go back to back. Number 41 for Grant, continuing to smash her way to unprecedented home run heights. This one, another meaningful milestone. She ties the Hall of Famer Stacey Newman, 90 home runs in a Bruin uniform.
This actually looks like a drop ball that is left up in the zone, and Megan Grant notices that it is a mistake. Belt high, and she just unleashes on it. She has always had this pull side power. I mean, history we are watching with Megan Grant every time she steps up to the plate.
And did you notice what all the Bruins did when she came to the plate? Pointed at home plate, because the last time Megan Grant hit a home run at the World Series, we all found out what the heck Appendix G is. Her home run to tie Tennessee last year that ended up leading to a huge delay because she didn't touch home plate. I waited for about 20 minutes to sort out whether she was out or not. Jordan Woolery drops a base hit behind her, and the second time through, it's homer single.
Well, and it used to be Jolly Ranchers that the third base coach would toss to UCLA, but it's Lego pieces that Megan Grant didn't even catch. Maybe she'll go back and get it. I don't know. But they start to build something in the dugout for those home runs that they hit. And that is just a big part of their team culture, their offensive culture, brick by brick, piece by piece, building with those Legos.
It wasn't always sunshine and home runs, though, for these UCLA Bruins. Back in the fall, Coach Inoue Perez acknowledged that they went through a tough time. She told her team, "You're vanilla. There's no fight. There's no personality." Talking to Alina Garcia, she was like, "Yeah, we were kind of mad at first, but then we realized she was kind of right. We realized we needed to take our personality off the field and bring it on the field. It really helped this team bond, come together, and start to put up those numbers."
Here's a drive way foul, but way fired by Alina Garcia. And to Alyssa's point, it's hard to imagine this team having ever been accused of being vanilla. The home run balls here at the World Series go to the family, and there are a couple to deliver. Riley Slimp and Megan Grant's families will get home run balls from this inning. The first time this season Slimp and Grant have gone back-to-back. The 20th time this year UCLA has gone back-to-back. Strike two to Garcia.
Such quick adjustments made by UCLA that first time through, or I should say the first two innings, 6 up, 6 down. And then Bragg actually was the one that just opened up this momentum offensively for UCLA.
By the way, 6 up, 6 down. The Bruins did not go 6 up, 6 down in any of their first 60 games of the year. So they get off to their literal slowest start of the season, and they don't care. They shake it off with 3 against one of the best pitchers in the country. Another 1-2. Garcia with a good take.
Well, and the difference is that they're just really sitting on this rise ball. Brisky is not able to locate anything down for a strike, so anything elevated, if it looks like it's a hittable height, UCLA is really attacking it, not even having to mess with down.
The first 2 innings, 4 strikeouts. The third inning, 4 hits. Lisa Fernandez with some words of encouragement for Garcia. We'll see a 7th pitch. And Garcia strikes out on it. UCLA puts up the big number. 3 in the third with 2 big swings.
Big answer back at the top of the order. Riley Slimp hitting her 17th home run, and then Megan Grant coming right behind her with a solo home run. That's 20 solo home runs for Megan Grant and her 41st of the season.
Thoughts in my head have a mind of their own.
A pretty delicious nightcap matchup with Arkansas finally at the World Series and the Nebraska Cornhuskers here for the 8th time. And we will see Jordy Fromm return to the World Series. 3 years ago, she was here as Jordy Ball, and she was the most outstanding player for the Oklahoma Sooners. Since then, she has transferred. She has torn her ACL and missed almost all of 2024. She's gotten married, changed the last name, and she's trying to become, along with her teammate Hannah Core, the first player, Amanda, to win the national title with 2 different schools.
Well, and she was here with Oklahoma in 22 and 23. She was really just a pitcher, made pinch run here and there, but Jordy Ball, a 2-way player and National Player of the Year.
Here's a line drive off the glove of Taylor Tinsley, and the new second baseman Mia Phillips has no play. So Jenna Young in the leadoff spot is 2 for 2. And a good start for Alabama, trying to answer the Bruins' 3-run third.
This just goes right back towards the face of Taylor Tinsley. She barely gets a glove on it, but Young is looking to hit early in the count, and my goodness, that ball was on top of Tinsley fast. And as a pitcher, remember, you start from 43 feet away, but by the time that you're releasing it, you're closer to 36, 37 feet away after you stride out, and that exit speed was 66 miles an hour off the bat. It got on top of her in a hurry.
And after one pitch, Elisa Fernandez is going to go chat with Taylor Tinsley and bring the infield together. So a 3-run top of the 3rd inning for UCLA. Alabama with the top of the lineup up. UCLA did damage the second time through with the Slimp and Grant home runs, and Alabama, its second time through, will look to do the same. These teams are trying to get to the Women's College World Series Finals, which begin Wednesday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com. Your home for all NCAA championships. Winners bracket right now, Texas Tech and Tennessee will play Saturday, 3 Eastern, 2 Central on ABC. Winner of this game will face the winner of our next one, the aforementioned Arkansas and Nebraska matchup. Here's Brooke Wells, the best power hitter for the Crimson Tide. Lined to single on a changeup her first time.
And with Brooke Wells changing her stance and going to a no stride approach, you'll notice that whenever this pitch is coming, she just lifts her left heel up and then plants it right back down. And that was something that she changed fairly early in the year, went to no stride. And what she said that helps with is just her to see the ball better, letting the pitches get deeper, and helps her hands get through faster. And a good example of that is just her approach that she had on the changeup in her first at bat, letting that pitch get deep and hitting it hard.
Numbers are way up. Strikes out here, up and away from Tinsley, her 3rd K.
Going to her curveball here away from Brooke Wells and getting her to chase this pitch. Lefty Ramirez back behind the plate, likes that pitch location, working well together.
Ball.
First pitch inside to Alexis Papillo. Struck out swinging in the first inning. A senior in her 2nd year after transferring from Northern Iowa. And a ground ball to second. Phillips tested immediately, knocks it down, and gets the out at first. Mia Phillips, in just her 2nd game at second base this year, has had to deal with a couple of ground balls, replacing the injured Kanaya Bragg.
Yeah, and that was hit hard off of Papillo's bat, 74 miles an hour exit velocity. And there's Kanaya Bragg, who started the game at second base, unfortunately not being able to get back out on the field.
Runner in scoring position for Anna Roman. In the dirt, Ramirez blocks it, but Young with a great dirt ball read. It's all the way to 3rd. A wild pitch thrown by Tinsley, her 8th of the year. And Kelly Inouye Perez is out of the UCLA dugout.
Maybe asking about interference with the way that Ramirez made contact with Roman.
She appears satisfied with Brett Hagan's answer. Second opportunity with at least one in scoring position for Roman today.
Ball.
At second and third, or first and second, one out in the first inning and grounded out.
Yeah, and Ramirez, Kevin, actually tossed Kelly Inouye Perez in that meeting, the pitch comm, so it's not on her knee anymore. So now Kelly Inouye Perez is going to be calling pitches from inside the dugout, like we talked about. They take turns at times, so high leverage situation. Right now, UCLA has all the momentum. Runner at third base after that leadoff hitter in Young got on, and not wanting Alabama to score here. She's going to be calling from inside the dugout.
.30 changeup.
That's a Kelly Inouye Perez pitch call right there, right? That's what she's calling, a 3-0 count. That's how much confidence that Tinsley has in that changeup.
The freshman Roman on a 3-1. Takes a knee-high, strike 2.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
Former All-American Taylor Tinsley looking for a shutdown third inning. Jenna Young at third, and that's where she'll stay. Ramirez spikes the softball. Tinsley howls after her 4th strikeout, and she keeps the tie off the board in the third.
Seems like the GOAT, Lisa Fernandez, knows what to say at the right time, because after that timeout she called with the infield and Tinsley was shut down with 2 strikeouts after the leadoff Young got on board.
College World Series presented by Capital One, here with UCLA head coach Kelly Inouye Perez. Coach, after you saw your order go through the lineup twice, what changed with your hitters?
I mean, this team is, they've been training to be able to make adjustments. It's the first time they've seen Brisky. She's obviously a very strong pitcher, but the ability to make adjustments is what this team trains for. So with that, I love how we got stronger through, the next at-bat.
So you have to make an adjustment there at second base. How's Kanaya?
You know what? She's actually good. She can come back out, but I kind of want to give her a little bit of a breather. She's rehabbed and she wants to play, but I want to kind of give her a little bit of a breather, and she may come right back in the ball game.
Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Kelly Inouye Perez telling us that we may see Kanaya Bragg again after a hit, leaving with an injury, still elevating the right leg. 3-run third inning for Kelly I's Bruins. Back-to-back home runs for the 20th time this season. Megan Grant extends her NCAA record, 41 home runs. And Taylor Tinsley, Amanda, has looked really good since that shaky start to the game.
I just love the way that Taylor Tinsley continues to battle. We've seen it for her entire career. I mean, she's been able to put UCLA on her back multiple times with injuries in years past, and she's doing it this year too. Over 200 innings pitched.
Number 5 hitter Brie Alejandre leads off with the Bruin fourth against Jocelyn Brisky.
2-0.
Brisky went 6 up, 6 down to start the game, then allowed back-to-back home runs for the first time in her college career. 2-0 to Alejandre is a pop-up. Back of third and grabbed by Ambry Taylor in foul territory.
It feels like this is an important inning for Alabama, just to be able to shut down UCLA's offense after they put up 3 runs on the board in that third inning. Now UCLA has all the momentum. They'd continue just to gain confidence if they could score here. But if Brisky could have a shutdown inning, it gives Alabama confidence. And that's a big pitch for her to be able to land her changeup. The one thing that I've seen from her this second time through, and in the third inning especially, was not being able to work more down in the zone with her drop and changeup.
She said something interesting to us yesterday. We asked her about UCLA. Jocelyn Brisky, who's the SEC Pitcher of the Year, who's dominated the best conference in softball, said, well, we know they're going to score. We're not going to shut out a dominant offense like that. But you don't want to allow a 3-run inning, which is exactly what happened in the third. Ramirez down to third for out number 2. What do you make of that mindset for Alabama coming into this game? That, hey, we know UCLA is going to score. We just can't allow the 3-run inning.
I can understand it, because when you've had a year like Jocelyn Brisky, you're used to putting zeros on the board. And I think from a pitching coach perspective or head coach perspective, coaching staff perspective, you don't want her to get down if and when UCLA scores, which is what they do, scoring nearly 11 runs per game. Like we talked about at the beginning of the show, a historic offense. Like, they are very likely, high probability, going to score. And Jocelyn Brisky has just not given up that many runs. They don't want their SEC Pitcher of the Year to panic if and when UCLA scored and completely take her out of the game.
Sujin Berry down the left field line. This ball is well hit. It will twist out of play for strike 2. Again, the number is 10.85 runs per game. A team-wide on-base percentage of .496. A team-wide slugging of .836. And their 47th inning with 2 home runs or more. 2 strikes on Berry.
And remember, Alabama had only given up 1 run in the NCAA tournament coming into the Women's College World Series. Their pitching staff and defense had been that good. So it's not just about Brisky not panicking. I think it's also about their whole team not panicking.
A strikeout for Berry. That's a good response from Brisky. She has struck out 6. Her catcher Giles will lead off for the Crimson Tide in the 4th.
This game is just all about response and punching back. And this is Brisky's form of punching back right here. 3 up, 3 down for the 3rd time in this game out of 4 innings against the best hitting team in the country.
Joined now by the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Patrick Murphy. Coach, what have you been saying to Jocelyn as she continues to work here?
Just keep fighting, stay gritty. You know, we're going to score runs. We need to do better with runners in scoring position, especially second and third. We got to put the ball in play. We got to get rid of those strikeouts.
What has been the message to your hitters going up against Taylor Tinsley?
We need to continue the inning. We need to pass the baton down. And right now, Marley and Audrey need to set the tone for everybody. So Marley gets on, Audrey gets on, and then we let the floodgates open.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Patrick Murphy, the SEC Coach of the Year for a league record 6 time. A little concerned maybe his team just 1 for 5 in a game with runners in scoring position. Marley Giles has the one, or that RBI single in the first inning, but Alabama has not done anything since. Alabama, the #1 overall seed, 16th trip to the World Series, but they have not been great starters here. Patrick Murphy, for all his success in his Hall of Fame career, is only 4-11 in opening games at the Women's College World Series. Giles, Vandegrift, and Taylor, 5, 6, 7 against Taylor Tinsley, and ball 1 starts the inning. Currently the highest win percentage in Alabama history, 885. Crimson Tide's most wins since they went 60-10 in 2019.
Ball. You have a swing? Yep.
In the last 2 years, this is a team that went just 10-14 and then 12-12 in the SEC. 22-26 over those 2 years. Bounced back to 19-5, their best record in the league in 12 years.
Ball.
Giles an RBI single. Alabama only 1 base runner since her hit. Tinsley is retired 7 of 8. And a pop-up by Giles starts the 4th inning. The freshman Lamar makes the catch. Sun starting to set here at 7:13 local. Cooled off a little bit to 81 degrees. A lovely day to start this World Series.
Love it. And not much wind. I think the flags are just hanging out there, not hardly moving.
There's a bunt laid down by Audrey Vandegrift, and Ramirez hesitated. So Vandegrift tries to shoot some emotion into the Alabama dugout with a bunt base hit.
Yeah, she's just such a dynamic player because she can hit home runs and then she can drop bunts like this. Look how long her strides are getting down the line too. Just deadens that bunt out in front of home plate. That is 16 bunt singles for Vandegrift. That leads anybody at the Women's College World Series by a long way.
Brings up the freshman Ambry Taylor, who gets just under this pitch and pops out to short. Taylor 0 for 2. Well, look at Taylor Tinsley this year. It's only a 3.03 ERA. It's statistically a worse year for her with a career 2.42 ERA. But in some ways, it's been her most impressive year. She's had to shoulder the load. You mentioned some of the UCLA losses earlier. They had 3 great pitchers a year ago. 2 transferred out. As she hits Salem Hawkins here, and the Alabama 8-hitter is aboard. 2 on for the Tide, with Kristen White, the number 9 hitter, due up.
This is where Alabama could cause a little havoc with their speed, with Vandegrift on second base, Hawkins at first, and Kristen White up at the plate. This is a lot of speed, a lot of action that is going to put pressure on UCLA to make a decision and to make a play with this speed on board.
He just brought in Caleb Rowe from first. He wants to talk this situation over with Rowe, a national champion at Alabama, and Kristen White.
Does she have to cover her mouth? Like, we want to read her lips. Bro, you've been in the biz.
Yes,
we want to read your lips up here.
You were one of us, Kayla.
But who better to hear words of advice from for Kristen White, who Caleb Rowe, left-handed hitter, a lot of speed, different tools in the box to lay down a bunt, to go to her slap, to swing away. So you see the passion that Caleb Rowe was speaking to her with in this situation, trying to give her the best advice, knowing how critical this is with 2 on, down by 2.
Kristen White,
Ball.
only 23 career RBIs in 411 plate appearances, and she's a .316 hitter. But they'll be happy if she just gets on anyway. She only has 2 extra base hits in her 4-year career, and they both came in the last month plus.
So Shodbine then went to her slap, trying to pull the corners in. She took that last strike, running through the box, holding her barrel back, but shown a couple of her different tools here, trying to keep UCLA's defense guessing.
Amanda Griffin Hawkins, the runners. Good speed around here for Alabama.
Ball.
White takes ball 2. She is 6 for 13 with a couple of walks here in the NCAA tournament. Has reached base every postseason game dating back to the SEC tournament. 2-1 from Tinsley. White slaps the ball to shortstop. Garcia's in. Garcia makes the play, and UCLA escapes another jam. 5 Crimson Tide runners left stranded. 8, 9, and 1 for UCLA. Riley Slip, the 1. Her home run put the Bruins on top, and if anybody gets on, it's Chef Megan. And a swing and a fly ball driven to center. White will watch it go. And Megan rips a fly ball to deep right field. And the Bruins go back to back. Home runs 201 and 202. UCLA has surpassed its previous program record by nearly 100 home runs. This preposterously powerful offense keeps it going as Mia Phillips picks up her first hit since April 12th into the game for the injured Bragg. And now Bragg and Phillips each have hits out of the 8th spot against Jocelyn Brisky. The 5th hit for a UCLA team that the last 2 years at the World Series only scored 12 runs in 6 games. Back-to-back years they've won their opener. Back-to-back years they've lost their next 2 and really been stymied offensively.
Yes,
a bunt attempted by Jelena Lamar, and it's strike 1. So how do you improve on a World Series team from a year ago. When you're at UCLA, a program that's always trying to evolve, always trying to grow, always trying to uphold the standard, you slug and slug some more. A record 34th World Series appearance for UCLA, which has won the national championship as a program more times than it has missed the World Series, 12 versus 10. But they've never had an offense like this. Swing and a miss by Lamar, 1-2.
This team just knows how to score runs in bunches against the best pitchers in the country. They have so much confidence. You can feel it with the way that they speak about their hitting, with the way they speak about each other, with the way that they pass the bat.
Swing and a miss. Lamar goes down. That's 7 strikeouts for Brisky, who's pitched a very nice game, all things considered.
Yeah, and she's gotten a lot of chase on this rise ball. A couple of strikeouts with her changeup. Actually, just one with her changeup. The rest of them, the 6 others, have been on her rise ball. That was a good comeback by Brisky to go after Lamar at the top of the order coming out.
2 home run hitters, Slimp and Grant for 3rd time. Riley Slimp, we talked to yesterday, she talked about how she and the Bruin hitters have worked on their motor preferences, and that's something that Lisa Fernandez has done. Tried to dissect each individual hitter, what makes them tick mechanically.
Yeah, last year she talked about being a little bit more in her legs and lower to the ground, which she's referring to motor preferences, and Lisa Fernandez going to work with motor preferences to learn more about that as more and more teams use motor preferences. You hear about it more.
Slim, a fly ball to right field. Will hang in there for Roman. The sunglasses on and the sun setting. It's out number 2. And here comes Megan Grant. Third at bat for Chef Megan. Tied Stacy Newman's UCLA record, her 90th career, 41 of them this year in her last at bat. And the Alabama pitching coach Lance McMahon, quite reasonably, wants to talk this over first.
You know, we asked Megan Grant if she had made any stance or swing changes, and she had told us no. But when I went back to look at her swing last year compared to this year, I definitely noticed some things. So we'll do it side by side. First with her stance. Look at how she was more open here, more closed here. And her barrel is at a different position too whenever she starts in her stance. And then pause it right there. She turns more in this year. Okay, so she was stepping open in 2025 more toward the first baseline because she was starting more open. But then this year, she's starting more square to the plate. Her hands are in a different position, and she's being able to use more of the opposite side of the field, which you see in her home runs. Last year, the majority of her home runs came to the right side of the field or the middle of the field. But this year, she has 20 opposite field home runs. So half of her home runs have come middle to left side.
1-0 here. Up high from Brisky. You ask her, what's your focus? And she said the big part of the field is her big focus. Although there's nothing that seems like a big part of the field with this kind of power. Grant rips a 2-0 changeup back to the screen.
Well, and she almost gets to a position when she loads and her hands go back that you can see her numbers from center field. She wasn't doing that last year, so her right shoulder comes a little bit more in, kind of curls in as she loads, and then she's able to explode on pitches to the opposite side.
Brisky back in the count, gets a swing and a miss against her.
Well, and I'll tell you what, she does not swing and miss very much at all. One of the lowest chase rates, one of the lowest swing and miss rates that there is.
12 strikeouts to 74 walks. Can Brisky get lucky number 13? Instead, a little blooper to the shortstop, Hawkins. Grant is 1 for 3. Brisky has another scoreless inning, and the big bats are due up for the number 1 seed.
hung up and my boots ain't on. Thoughts in my head have a mind of their own. I'm climbing up the walls, I'm going downhill. I can't sit still. I ain't caught my breath since I took my first, so I guess I'll rest when
Back-to-back Bruin blast from Riley Slimp and Megan Grant on a gorgeous night in Oklahoma City. The 8th seed UCLA 3. The first seed Alabama 1. We hit the bottom of the 5th on opening night at the World Series. Arkansas and Nebraska still to come.
Ball, that's up.
The top 3 in the Alabama lineup see Taylor Tinsley for a 3rd time as Jenna Young starts it off in the midst of a 2-for-2 game. Brooke Wells and Alexis Papillo, 2 of the best home run hitters in Alabama history next as Young gets ahead 2-0. The 15th meeting between these powerhouse programs in what has been a lopsided rivalry. UCLA leads the all-time series 13-1. 3-1 here at the World Series, including a 4-1 win 2 years ago. The only time Alabama beat UCLA, Montana Fouts famously threw a perfect game on her birthday 5 years ago. 2-0 from Taylor Tinsley.
Ball, 3-0.
Falls behind 3-0. Tinsley has scattered 5 hits and a hit batter. Left 5 Alabama players on base.
Ball.
But she walks Young on 4 pitches to begin the bottom of the 5th. Young has reached 3 times as a leadoff hitter. And Brooke Wells coming up as we go to Alyssa.
Is up to the plate next, guys. Brooke Wells is up to the plate next. She was hitless during Super Regionals for Alabama, obviously uncharacteristic for her offensively. She told us before they left on Monday, Coach Murph gave her a card that said, guess what? We're going to the World Series. Nothing else matters.
Ball.
Was an awesome, simple, effective message, Alyssa. 0 for 8 in those Super Regionals, 5 strikeouts. But he said to her, isn't this where you want to be? You're going to the World Series. What could be better than that? She said it wasn't just Patrick Murphy. It was her teammates who hugged her and said 1 week doesn't define you. Batting is the tying run here as Wells takes strike 1.
On the front of that card, too, it talked about failure and how failure is important. And then, of course, a handwritten message from Coach Murphy himself, how proud he has been of her for the year that she's had and what an important, integral part of the offense that Brooke Wells is.
Wells chases her eyes for strike 2. Homered in her first 2 Alabama games. 23 multi-RBI games on the year. Fit right in, the sophomore from Round Rock, Texas. He's the first Alabama player to hit the 20 home run mark since the great slugger Bailey Hemphill. Bailey hit 26 in 2019. That's a tied record. Wells is 3 away. Another 1-2. And Wells lines one to shortstop. Garcia not in time to first, but gets Wells for a 2nd time. And Tinsley has the first out of the 5th.
That was a well-struck ball, and Alina Garcia was in the right place at the right time, because look how she's playing more up the middle of the field, just basically played catch with Brooke Wells on this line drive. So normally that shortstop would be playing more over toward third base, but Garcia even now is still up the middle of the field with a runner at first.
Alexis Papillo now the 1-out tying run.
Ball.
And Alabama has just had difficulties putting things together against Taylor Tinsley. The only time that back-to-back hitters have reached was to lead off the game in the same inning that they scored their only run of the game back in the 1st.
Papillo drives one to right field with some power, with some pop. Papillo ties the score. She flies into the plate, homering for a 3rd straight game as the top-seeded tied answer in the 5th.
She struck out in her first at bat off of a rise ball that was moving away. So her game plan here is to hunt early in the count. That's a drop ball that just stays a little bit flat, but Papillo was looking for a mistake early so that she did not get 2 strikes against Tinsley again. Look at that beautiful extension over the right field wall. Alexis Papillo ties up this game.
A young woman who was studying so much film this week. Jocelyn Brisky told us yesterday she came up to Jocelyn on the bus on the way to the park yesterday with film on UCLA pitchers. And Jocelyn said of Alexis Papillo, I swear she can guess the pitches they're going to throw. The proof is in the pudding on that swing. And a Roman out of play. It's 1-2. There they are, the first Alabama duo ever with 20 home runs each in a single season. Tinsley bounces back with her 5th strikeout.
And this swing by Alexis Papillo is a thing of beauty. She is so strong, that lower half getting into it, that extension that we talked about, but in the weight room, she's putting up big numbers. 420 squat, 210 bench. She really hit the weight room, wanted to get stronger, and it's paid off in her regular season this year, and a great vertical jump that you just saw on display there that probably went up a couple of inches too. And you know what? You jump a little bit higher on this field after a home run, especially when it's one that ties up the game.
And there's her journal, which is her everything, she told us. Ripped foul by Giles.
I mean, I think I speak for all of us when I say she was a joy to talk to. And you mentioned that journal, Kevin. She is a professional hitter. She charts every pitch she sees. She also told us she loves to read devotional, self-help books. She writes everything down as it relates to the mental approach in that journal, and it pays off on the field.
Ball.
She's reading as well, she told us, a book called Finished It by Cassie Riley-Boscia, who is a player on the 2012 Alabama national title team. And we asked her, what did you take from that book? She said, continue to keep our routine. Those habits are going to help us stay successful.
Well, remember, that was a really special team, and Cassie Riley-Boscia was a big part of that team. Kind of reminds me of Alexis Papillo a little bit, but that was the first national championship for Alabama in 2012. Caleb Rowe was on that team. And it was the first national championship for the SEC, so it was a big deal. Caleb Rowe is one of the best to ever put on the Alabama uniform. And like I said, a big part of that team. Teammates with Cassie Riley-Boscia, who wrote that book, Finished It. Really cool that she has it.
And Kayla penned the foreword for that book. Some of her accolades, a decorated college career. And there's a home run ball to the Papillo family. I tell you, they probably would have had a hard time imagining this a couple of years ago when Alexis was playing at University of Northern Iowa, was a star there, 2-time first team all Missouri Valley Conference. Her second year at Alabama, she's just hit a game-tying home run at the World Series. Ball forward to Giles, and the Crimson Tide keep it going.
These are the at-bats that they needed to have. This is the momentum that they needed to grab. It's getting late in this game. Tinsley was starting to feel real comfortable, but third time through the order, Jenny Young did her thing up at the top. I mean, Jenny Young has just been a spark for this Alabama team when they moved her to the leadoff spot, reaching base all 3 times as a leadoff in this game and scoring 2 runs because of it.
There's their hottest hitter in the postseason, Vandegrift. 9 for 16 now. Swings away at a changeup through the box for a base hit. There goes the catcher Giles to third, and Vandegrift dashes behind her to second. A ground ball double, 2 in scoring position as Alabama looks to break the deadlock.
Tell Alabama is starting to be a little bit more aggressive early in the count. I don't even know how she got good barrel to that. That was 72 miles an hour exit speed off of a 54-mile-an-hour changeup down in the zone. But Vandegrift able to get her legs into it, drops her barrel down to it. Just didn't look as fooled on that. She looked a little bit fooled. I am stunned that that was 72 miles an hour off of the bat.
Her second hit of the game. And the freshman Ambry Taylor thrust into the spotlight.
Ball.
You mentioned earlier maybe UCLA needs to be a little more aggressive against Brisky. Alabama is the team that's become more aggressive in this inning against Taylor Tinsley.
Remember, Coach Murphy said in his in-game interview, we've had too many strikeouts with runners on base. So the best way to avoid a strikeout is to get something to hit early in the count. Papillo's home run came on the first strike that she saw, and then Vandegrift's swing on the first pitch that she saw.
Two on, two out for Alabama's missed softball from a year ago. Ambry Taylor chops it foul. Taylor Tinsley to Ambry Taylor. Lined into left field and caught. Absolutely scalded right at a shallow slim. But Papillo's energy is still unmatched as she ties it with one swing.
Her teammates say she is a whole different kind of person. They say she is a monster. And that was a monster swing, a monster jump to tie up this game.
World Series. We've got one more game for you. We will get you set for Arkansas and Nebraska, plus talk to winners of this game. But guys, first, what did you see on that swing from Alexis Papillo?
Alexis Papillo has been swinging it so well all year long. And Coach Patrick Murphy, when he asked her what her favorite part about hitting is, Danielle, she said she just wants to see how far she can hit it. She likes hitting it at night because she wants to see the ball disappear at night. Well, it wasn't during the nighttime, but she will absolutely take that shot.
Well, Courtney and I actually saw her in the weight room this morning. She was getting after it. But I think for Justin Brisky, your teammate just went up and tied this ball game. Continue to keep doing what you're doing, throwing zeros up there, and see where you end up.
Kevin, Amanda, Alabama's lost 13 straight when trailing by multiple runs here. Do we have a Roll Tide rally happening on?
We may indeed, Courtney. We may indeed. They've got 6 come from behind wins against ranked teams this year. This would certainly be their biggest and best. Remember, the winner of this game gets a day off, plays Saturday night in the winner's bracket. The loser of this game has to turn around and play tomorrow. And a big-time Bruin bat, Jordan Woolery, the Big Ten Player of the Year, faces Jocelyn Brisky, the SEC Pitcher of the Year, to start the 6th. Strike 2, catches the outside edge. Been a good zone by Brett Higgins tonight, and Brisky shaves one onto the corner to get ahead 0-2. A 3-run third, scoreless in the other 4 innings. Woolery elevates one to right field. That's going to stay in the yard for the new right fielder, Larissa Pruitt, with a 2-hand catch in the first out of the 6th.
That is a big out, and something that UCLA has just done so well this year is just that high response rate. After somebody scores on them, their offense punches right back. It's a boxing theme that they've had all year long with boxing gloves, even inside the dugout, something that Lisa Fernandez came up with to help them have that punch back mentality.
They've got the number 4 hitter, Alina Garcia, here. A redshirt freshman. He's hit 4 home runs in the NCAA tournament. And Garcia grounds the ball through the box, a base hit. Alina Garcia has her first hit at the World Series.
Well, it's so good to see Alina Garcia healthy and getting to play on this field. Had a red shirt last year after an injury early in the season, just 4 weeks in. Kind of like what we saw from Vivi Garcia, shortstop for UCLA, shortstop for Texas, being able to come back this year after a knee injury and contribute in a big way to their team. Alina Garcia is just going to have a terrific career at UCLA. She is so good.
1 on 1 out for Brie Alejandre. On speed strike from Brisky. It's been a first pitch strike machine in the game. 17 first pitch strikes now. 23 batters faced. Alejandre struck out and fouled out. And this is a potential foul out, but it'll sneak into the stands. We talk so much about Grant and Woolery. And here's Brie Alejandre, who set the Big Ten freshman home run and RBI records. Next year, she potentially will be the big hitter for UCLA, the superstar. But it's a lineup with absolutely no let-up. Makes what Jocelyn Brisky has done all the more impressive when you get these numbers down in the 5 spot. Another 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, and Alejandre is frozen. The 8th punch out for Brisky.
You mentioned it. I really like this zone here tonight, Kevin, and not just because of this strikeout. I think that the home plate umpire has done a great job with both sides, given the edge of the plate there. Looked like a low rise ball that just didn't work its way up.
And Ramirez grounds one to second. The flip from Young, the inning over. Alabama gets 2 in the 5th. Brisky puts up a 0. Bottom, then the top for the tie.
The NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
3 home runs, Slimp, Grant, and Papillo. A 3-3 game here between 8th-seeded UCLA and number 1 seed Alabama. Back with you in the booth, Kevin and Amanda. It's been a fantastic start to the night session. Still Nebraska and Arkansas to go. The number 1 team in the country, the most decorated program in the country, have gone head-to-head.
Yeah, I like the punches back and forth from both of these teams. You can tell both teams settling in. I said this to go into this game. I don't know how this one's going to end because I think that both teams have such great approaches at the plate with UCLA and Jocelyn Brisky, the way that she's throwing. I think it's going to come down to a defensive mistake here or maybe a pitching mistake out over the heart of the plate that the other team takes advantage of late.
Who will be the star at sunset? Maybe Salem Hawkins, who's grounded out and been hit by a pitch. Fouls away the first pitch from Taylor Tinsley. Tinsley now has thrown 84 2/3 of the last 89 UCLA innings. Except for 2 2/3 in the regional opener, every pitch of the postseason. As Hawkins hits a pop-up down the line in right. Phillips is out from second to make the catch in foul territory. The sun's setting on the 6th inning here at OG Energy Field at Devon Park. 44th Women's College World Series. UCLA here for a record 34th time. Alabama for a 16th. And there were some questions. How would the crowds be with Oklahoma missing out for the first time since 2015? Oklahoma State not here. Consider those questions very quickly and resoundingly answered. Crowds have been great all day. Stands have been packed. The closest team geographically to Oklahoma City is Arkansas. They play next, and they're playing Nebraska. And we expect it's going to be a raucous Big Red crowd for the Cornhuskers here for the first time in 13 years. Arkansas the first time ever. Garcia, wide throw, and Kristen White slaps out an infield hit. Alabama puts the go-ahead run on with 1 out in the 6th.
That was big. Perfect placement by Kristen White to pull Lena Garcia, who did everything that she could do at shortstop. I truly believe Garcia is going to be a future Gold Glover at shortstop. Look how quickly she gets rid of it. And then the stretch by Woolry at first base. Great footwork to make that even a close call or potential out. Look at the pick at first base and that backhand footwork. That is very nice.
8th Alabama hit in 5 1/3 against Tinsley. 4th time through now. And Jenna Young has yet to be retired. 2 singles and a walk. 2 of the 3 runs scored. Young slaps the ball down the line in left. That will land in foul territory for strike 2. First-year Alabama player. They took 2 new transfers in this year. They're the top 2 hitters. Young from Iowa, Wells from Houston. Coaching staff changes for both of them. Entered the portal, found their way to Tuscaloosa. The top 2 hitters on the nation's top seed. Young to left field again, trying to drop it in front of Slimp, and she will. Slimp comes up short on a diving try. Young is on for the 4th time, and Brooke Wells will bat with a go-ahead run in scoring position.
Jenny Young has just been so determined at the plate, now reaching base 4 times, and Slim did everything she can with those long levers to try to catch that in the air, just coming up short. But a couple of times now, or this is going to be the 3rd inning that Alabama has had back-to-back hitters reached, and 2 the other times they scored.
And the batter is Wells, trying to shake off that super regional slump. Two on, 1 out. Couple of All-Americans. Tinsley from a year ago, Wells a 2nd teamer this year.
Take your time here.
Ramirez takes timeout to wipe something out of her eye. You're Taylor Tinsley here. You've given up 9 hits now. You're trying to hold the damage. Where do you attack Brooke Wells?
definitely going to mix in a changeup in there. I would make it well out of the strike zone and then lean on her curveball that she got her out on.
Blasted to right center by Wells and gone! Brooke Wells is alive and well. Number 24 for the first-year Crimson Tide slugger is a go-ahead 3-run shot at the World Series.
Talked about what is it going to come down to when we talked about mistakes. This pitch is a mistake. Look at where it is pitched to the best home run hitter in the lineup, to Alabama. Right down the heart of the plate, and Wells, you can't miss it, and she didn't. Giving Alabama the lead, using the middle of the field. My goodness, what a beautiful swing in the biggest moment for Brooke Wells in her first World Series game.
I'll tell you this much. If this whole coaching thing doesn't work out for Patrick Murphy, he's got a heck of a career on his hands as a greeting card deliverer. 0 for 8, 5 strikeouts in the supers. You heard Alyssa talk about it earlier. Gave her a card during the week about how you respond from failure. And respond she has. Strike 2, Papillo 1 and 2. Alabama's first lead since a 1-0 lead. It took into the second. Wells with her 10th go-ahead home run of this debutante Crimson Tide season.
Ball.
This is what this stage is all about. New stars shining. Players who've fought through adversity, gone through struggles, even if just for a weekend, and make a name for themselves. They're the greatest show on dirt. A pop up for Papillo. We go back to the Wells home run.
And remember, she has that no stride approach, so heel up, heel down, and again, where you look at the location of that pitch, Brooke Wells is probably like thank you, right over the heart of the plate, getting to celebrate with her teammates. This is what the World Series is all about.
Ball.
Ball 1 to Anna Roman. Rick told us yesterday, with 2 parents who played, you grow up knowing you're going to play softball. Earliest memory was her mom, Jamie, coaching her. Her dad, Dan Wells, was a minor league baseball player. And there's some kismet in that family story. Jamie played at South Florida. Her career ended when her South Florida team beat Alabama, but lost to Michigan in the Tuscaloosa Regional in 2001. And now her daughter is trying to bring a title home to Tuscaloosa.
Coach Murphy told us in the fall they didn't see this power from Brooke Wells. He was surprised she hit 21 home runs earlier in the season. Well, this is number 24 in Oklahoma City. The go-ahead 3-run home run, and Alabama is 3 outs away.
When my hat's hung up and my boots ain't
Alabama got the first run in the first inning, but Riley Slimp and Megan Grant went back-to-back in the third for the best offense in the country. UCLA jumped on top. Alexis Papillo tied it in the fifth, her 20th home run of the year, second only to her teammate Brooke Wells. Number 24, too shy of the Bama record. A 3-run shot for the Houston transfer. And the home run ball, as is customary, heads to the family, the Wells family. Some pretty darn good players in that family. Mom and dad both played softball and baseball respectively. And daughter Brooke has the Crimson Tide 3 outs away from the winner's bracket Saturday night. First pitch, top of the 7th, the pop-up from Sujin Berry to second. Grabbed there by Jenna Young. So Jocelyn Brisky, who cruised through a perfect 2 innings, then gave up 3 runs in the third, has allowed just 2 singles since. And look who's coming back into the game. Kanaya Bragg, who left after seemingly re-injuring the right leg in the third on a single, will re-enter here for Kelly Inouye Perez.
Lisa Fernandez had pulled Kanaya Bragg aside in between one of the innings. I think it was right before the Kelly Inouye Perez interview, and you could see that Lisa Fernandez was saying something to Bragg, just a really intimate conversation, a personal one, and I bet it was stay ready for your moment.
Ball just down.
Moment is here for Bragg, who had a game-tying home run at the World Series last year off Nyjah Kennedy, just trying to be a base runner here. Did that hit her? Yes, it did. So Bragg is a base runner, hit by a pitch, and that brings the tying run to the on-deck circle.
And that is only the 4th hit batter that Jocelyn Brisky has had this season. This just does not happen a lot. Her command has been so good.
Timeout for Kelly Inouye Perez here. UCLA is going to bring in a pinch runner for Bragg. She will exit the game for a second time. Jayla Ann Mercado is the pinch runner here in the 7th. Well, UCLA obviously needs one more base runner to bring up the tying run. They also need one more base runner to give Megan Grant a shot in the inning. Grant is still 2 batters away after this 9th spot, and Jolena Lamar.
Well, you could tell that Jolena Lamar, I think, thought there was going to be a pinch hitter for her, so she wasn't ready for this at bat. Looked like she came out of the dugout, grabbed her helmet, grabbed her bat, so she's trying to slow herself down now, but you could tell she was rushed to get out here for this at bat.
And she takes a strike. UCLA's only real touch of adversity came in the regional opener against Cal Baptist, and Lamar had a home run to tie the game in the bottom of the 7th in that game. Chases badly here, and she's in an 0-2 hole.
That's what she did in her last at bat too. If you're Brisky, especially in an 0-2 count now, you do not want to come anywhere close with the way that Lamar has chased in her last 2 at bats.
And Jolena will take a shoe tying timeout.
This is one of her own timeouts as Marissa Young, the head coach at Duke, who is also her mom, watches from the concourse here in that UCLA uniform, cheering on her daughter.
Right next to an Arkansas fan, the team that eliminated Duke, but mom is here. And daughter is down. Lamar strikes out for a second time. The 9th strikeout for Brisky, who needs just one more out. So Riley Slimp, who homered in the 3rd to put UCLA on top, must reach base. Strike 1. 21 out of 28. First pitch strikes for Brisky. Slip on the ground to third. Taylor to first. A 6-3 final and a comeback for the top-seeded Tide as Alabama storms past UCLA into the winner's bracket.
We talked about how this Alabama team has just been different this year since February. And you saw that throughout this game, even coming here and winning the first game at the Women's College World Series in terms of their opening round game in a while. They've struggled here doing that, and they've struggled against UCLA. 1-13 against UCLA before this game. This is a huge win for Alabama, and they just flexed in a lot of different ways. Brisky with the complete game, a couple of home runs, and attacking mistakes when it mattered.
1-13 against UCLA, also 4-11 in openers for Pat Murphy. And how about this? When UCLA led by 2 runs or more going into the 5th inning, Bruins were 41-0. Alabama defies the numbers, and we'll head to our Capital One rewarding performance. The swing that won it for Brooke Wells.
Getting a pitch out over the heart of the plate, and Wells just did not miss her first ever Women's College World Series game, as she is a transfer, and she gave Alabama the lead and the win.
Guys, Brooke had to run over and get punched for the interview. She specifically had to get a Brooke. You hit the go-ahead 3-run home run to put your team in front after a tough weekend last weekend. How did you approach that at bat?
I think I was just staying relaxed, trusting what I do. Ambry told me right before, we've had great at bats, and we just have to, just continue to build on that. And so I was just trying to stay relaxed.
The inning before, Alexis Papillo ties it for you guys. What was the dugout like in that moment?
Oh, it was crazy. I was getting water. Next thing you know, everyone was sprinting out, and that's when we knew we were we got this. Just tone back in, and we just focus on what we do.
For them to take the lead early in this game and this team to punch back, how would you describe the mentality of this group?
Yeah, we knew they were going to punch back, and so it was more just being gritty, like Murph says, and just punching them right back.
Literally punching them right back. What'd you make of Jocelyn Brisky's performance today?
She did great. They punched her in the mouth, but she punched right back, and she never feared or settled down, so she did great.
You and Punch and the rest of your team have the day off. Congratulations, Brooke.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Well, we've also set a little bit more history. We just set a Guinness World Record for most times the word punch has been used in an interview, not related to boxing. Punch the Monkey, the rally monkey at Alabama, will play 7 Eastern, 6 local on ESPN Saturday night. Tech, Tennessee, and Bama are the day one winners, and Arkansas and Nebraska coming up. For UCLA, it's rest up and recover for 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 6:30 Pacific game tomorrow. Well, what a great start to the night session, and we have Jordy Fromm in Nebraska against the first-timers Arkansas in store. Before that, plenty to cover. Courtney Lyle, Madison Shipman, and Danielle Laurie in the NCAA Softball Championship updates.